obviously give a ton of credit to TJ and that group. We came out and ran into a buzzsaw tonight. Kind of played exactly the way I expected them to play after, maybe in their mind struggling a little bit against Western on Saturday. And, obviously you know what you're going to get from Mike, and Jenkins really got it going. And when they get it clicking with those two and other guys filling in around, they're tough to beat. It's not in the coaching 101 book, but, it's never easy. But said goodbye today to, not goodbye, but, 3 guys in AJ, Paul, and Spencer that mean the world to me. As I've been the head coach here for 4 years, they've been along for that ride. And 3 guys that are going to be highly successful as husbands, fathers, employees, employers, and something that's highly important to what we talk about in our program.
Questions for the student athlete? Start with Jeff.
Jeff, go back to form. Tyson, looks like consistency was, again, kind of tough to find. It's been something that's been plaguing all year. Resurrecting it.
I mean, those are some of the things that we talked about during the season, finding a consistent game, and there's spurts throughout the season that we showed promise, and we got a tough question. I don't really know how to answer this. I'm sorry, but I feel like consistency may have played a part, but I feel that sometimes the ball just doesn't fall in your court.
Matt?
Tyson, last night you were the guys with the big lead at halftime. When you were down big at halftime, did you kind of reference that? Like, hey, things changed in a hurry last night. Let's see if we can do the same thing to South Coast State.
I mean, in the second half, that's always always keep your energy up, and that's what I mean. A little bit, yeah. We were in the same. The Fort Wayne was in the same position last night, and they battled back, and we tried to make that as well. Brought that into the locker room as well.
What did you think when you went to a small lineup with AJ at 5?
I mean, just playing basketball. I mean, no matter who's out there, I believe that anybody on our team can guard. So, I mean, it was just playing basketball.
Anything else for Tyson? Okay, if not, Tyson, we'll go ahead and excuse you back with your teammates. We appreciate your time and coming down here. And we'll go ahead and continue with questions for Coach. Jeff?
Same thing, Dave. Small lineup. Why did you go to it? Were you pleased with it?
Yeah, you look at the numbers at half when 44% isn't great, but they're only shooting 44%, and they're shooting 20% from the 3. And we're down 18. Clearly, our inefficiencies were coming at the offensive end, and we need to get better spacing, better movement, and it gave us a spark in the spurt. And we were able to really quickly cut it to 8, but it's just tough to maintain like that.
Question all the way in the back here. We'll get him the microphone.
Dave, Gates of Billy Nathan, ABC here. You guys cut it to 8 in that second half. It seemed like as soon as you guys made that run, the crowd really got into it. NDSU with a basket. You had 5,000 to 6,000 fans on their feet. In an event that's supposed to be on a neutral site, what are your thoughts on the crowd really being, 90-10? I know you guys have won a tournament title here, but what are your thoughts on the crowd really getting involved and possibly helping NDSU?
There's no excuses within our program. We can go out there and control the things that we can control, and we didn't do that to the best of our abilities tonight. And as much as you can talk about a neutral site, they were the 1 seed this year, and they earned every bit of the support that they got.
Back here again in the center.
Dave, you kind of touched on it earlier, but you've been here for 4 years. AJ, Paul, Spence, they've been alongside you since you took that head coach position. What have they meant to you, and what have they meant in a broad spectrum to this program in general?
Well, you go back and for 5+ months you pour everything into a season, and then all of a sudden it's over, and there's sometimes a loss for words, but each one of those guys would tell you that North Dakota State University men's basketball had an impact on their lives, but there's no question for me and for this program that they've had an impact on us. And again, a big part of what we do, and I think it helps us win games along the way, is preach about being a better person, being a husband, a father, an employee, employer down the road, and preparing you for those things. And there's no question in my mind those 3 are very well prepared. Spencer epitomizes persistence. Tough kid that's going to be really successful. It's well documented. You go back 2 years ago in this building, the decision that I made to sit out Paul for a game, I just told him I didn't know if we would make it to today, and there was days that I didn't want to make it to today with him. And now he's one of my, again, it's not about me, but myself and this program, one of my greatest rewards. Paul's a better person. I'm a better person for being around each other. And, AJ, I struggle not getting choked up with that one. I mean, from day one, that kid's everything to me. He really is. He's just a special human being. He pours himself into it. He's lying through his teeth. We have no idea how bad he's banged up right now, and yet he won't say anything. And he's practiced sporadically in the last half of the season. And just does what's asked. And he's going to get married this summer, live a great life. He's going to be a great dentist. And, I'm glad to know AJ for the rest of my life.
Far right corner.
John Gaskins, KWSN Radio here in Sioux Falls. This is a totally different topic coming off that, and probably the last thing on your mind. But if South Dakota State and USD meet in tomorrow's championship game, just explain how they would match up with one another. Who might have the advantage?
There's two high-level players on each team. I think Matt Mooney and Mike Dahm, and you can see, that they've split. I think they both got different strengths and weaknesses. South Dakota to me is just a really, and hear me out on the whole thing here. I think South Dakota State is a really good team, South Dakota, is a really good team. And what I mean by that is, the first thing to winning is eliminating losing, and they don't beat themselves. They play really hard, and they got a special talent, and Mooney and Hagedorn can get it going, and a bunch of other guys that really understand their role. And I think you saw, the best version of South Dakota State tonight when those two highly talented young men can get it going, and everybody else is kind of playing their role. I think the difference in South Dakota State this year is who they are defensively. They certainly found an identity late last year, but King and Key and Flatten and just the urgency that they're playing with, it makes them tough to beat.
Down here with Jeff.
Dave, I hate to ask it, but you've addressed it all year on the consistency issue. Did that end up ultimately being the top part of the season?
Yeah, I think so. And how would I describe this year? Frustrating from that standpoint. You saw what we were capable of last night. Plenty of excuses and plenty of things to go around why I don't think we were able to maintain that consistency, but we weren't able to do that, and that's something going forward that we got to get cleaned up. I like the parts we got coming back. I like some of the parts we got coming in. We got some scholarships available that we need to get some guys that can continue to help us. But I'm very, very confident in the direction we're moving. Nothing needs to be fixed. Just a couple things need to be cleaned up a little bit.
As long as we're on that topic, what do you need for this team?
I think the first and foremost, and for every kid that's listening to me, we need bison guys that understand what it's about to be here, guys that want to be here, guys that have the right attitude to be here. I think that's a big key. Some versatility. The 4-5 is something that we've talked about. One of the things about how a season works out, a guy like Tyree Edey was a guy that we were going to play, and right before the opener, tweaks an ankle, and we're 5-6 games deep, and we kind of got into a rotation. So I'm excited about Tyree. I think you're going to see a really talented, better version of Rocky Cruiser next year. I think Dan Gu gained some confidence this year. So we've got some parts we feel good about. We need some depth. I think, as you ask Coach Miller, our strength coach, who's a big part of this program, not that guys didn't earn it, but they were just kind of given roles because of our lack of seniors the last couple years. And sometimes when you have to fight, dig, scrap, and claw through some of those things, that can help you be that better version of yourself, that better bison guy.